Here is a test that takes exactly 10 seconds. It might be the most important 10 seconds of your life after 80. Stand on one leg, just one leg, no holding on to anything. If you can hold that position for 10 seconds, congratulations. If you cannot, a massive study of over 1,700 adults just revealed something that should stop you in your tracks. Researchers from Brazil followed people for 7 years and published their findings in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. What they discovered sent shock waves through the medical community. People who failed this simple balance test had an 84% higher risk of death from any cause compared to those who passed. Let me say that again because it matters. 84% higher risk of dying, not from falling, not from breaking a hip, from any cause whatsoever. This 10-second test turned out to be one of the most powerful predictors of longevity that scientists have ever found. But here is where this gets really interesting. And this is what most people completely miss. Failing this test does not mean you are doomed. Far from it. Your balance is not fixed. Your strength is not permanent. Even after 80, your body maintains a remarkable ability to adapt and improve. The same research teams that discovered how dangerous poor balance can be have also uncovered exactly what you can do about it. They found that specific exercises can dramatically improve your performance on this test in just weeks, not months, weeks. And the best part is you do not need expensive equipment. You do not need a gym membership. You do not need to exercise for hours every day. The science points to just 3 exercises. 3 simple movements that target the exact systems that keep you upright and alive. These exercises work on what researchers call the 3 pillars of physical independence, after 80. Your vestibular system, which controls your inner ear balance, your proprioception, which is your body's ability to know where it is in space, and your lower body strength, which gives you the power to catch yourself before a fall becomes a fracture. When you train all 3 of these systems together, something remarkable happens. Your body starts communicating faster, your reflexes sharpen, your confidence grows, and the 10-second test suddenly becomes much easier. Now I am going to walk you through all 3 exercises in order from 3rd place to 1st place. I have ranked them based on the research based on which ones have the biggest impact on your ability to pass that test and stay independent. But I need you to pay very close attention when we get to the number 1 exercise because a study from Harvard found that this single movement improved balance test scores by 43% in adults over 75. 43% from one exercise, and the way you perform it matters more than how often you do it. Most people get this completely wrong. So stay with me until the end because that 1st place exercise might just be the most important thing you learn all year. Before we begin, let us know in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We read and reply to every single comment. So drop your comments below. Now let us start with exercise number 6 and work our way up to the most important one. Number 3, the heel-toe walk. Let us start with the 3rd most important exercise for passing the 10-second balance test after 80. This is called the heel-to-toe walk. Some people call it the tandem walk. Physical therapists sometimes refer to it as the tightrope walk. Whatever name you use, this exercise does something unique that most other balance exercises cannot do. It trains what scientists call your dynamic balance. This is different from standing still on one leg. Dynamic balance is your ability to stay upright while moving. And here is why that matters so much as you age. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity tested over 600 adults between 70 and 90 years old. They measured both static balance, which is standing still, and dynamic balance, which is balance while moving. The researchers wanted to know which type of balance predicted falls better. The results were fascinating. Dynamic balance turned out to be a slightly better predictor of who would fall within the next year. People who struggled with walking in a straight line were 31% more likely to experience a fall compared to those who could walk smoothly. This makes perfect sense when you think about real life. You were not standing still most of the day. You were walking to the kitchen. You were moving through your home. You were navigating around furniture and pets and grandchildren. The heel-to-toe walk directly trains this kind of real-world balance. When you perform this exercise, you walk in a straight line, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of your other foot with each step. It sounds simple. It is not. This narrow base of support forces your brain to work much harder than normal walking. Your vestibular system has to constantly recalibrate. Your ankle muscles have to make tiny adjustments with every single step. Your core has to engage to keep your trunk stable over your feet. Here is exactly how to do this exercise for maximum benefit. First, find a clear hallway or long room in your home. You want at least 15 feet of open space. Position yourself near a wall but not touching it. The wall is there as a safety backup if you start to lose your balance. Stand tall with your feet together. Take a breath and relax your shoulders. Now step forward with your right foot, placing your heel directly in front of your left toes. There should be no gap between your right heel and your left toes. Pause for a moment. Feel your weight shift. Now step forward with your left foot, placing your left heel directly in front of your right toes. Continue this pattern for about 20 steps. The key to getting the most out of this exercise is your gaze. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that where you look during balance exercises changes how effective they are. Looking straight ahead instead of looking down at your feet improved balance test scores by 19% more over an 8-week training period. This is because looking ahead forces your vestibular system to do more work. When you stare at your feet, your visual system takes over and your balance organs get lazy. You want those balance organs working hard. Start with 2 sets of 20 steps each day. Do this exercise first thing in the morning when your focus is fresh. After 2 weeks, try making it harder. Close your eyes for 5 steps at a time or try walking heel to toe while slowly turning your head left and right. These progressions challenge your balance system even more and lead to faster improvements. A Japanese study found that adding head movements to walking exercises improved balance test scores twice as fast as walking exercises alone. The participants went from failing the 10-second test to passing it in just 6 weeks. One more thing about the heel-to-toe walk that most people do not realize. This exercise also strengthens your ankles in a very specific way. Every time you stand with your feet in that narrow tandem position, your ankle stabilizers have to fire continuously. These small muscles around your ankle joint are often weak in older adults because normal walking does not challenge them enough. But these are the exact muscles that catch you when you start to tip sideways. Building strength in these muscles is like installing a safety net for your balance. This brings us to an exercise that the research shows is even more effective for passing that crucial 10-second test. Number 2, the chair squat. The second most important exercise for balance after 80 is the chair squat. This exercise goes by many names. Some call it the sit to stand. Others call it the chair rise. In clinical research, it is often part of something called the 30-second chair stand test. Whatever you call it, this movement targets what might be the single biggest reason older adults fail the balance test. Leg weakness. Here is a number that should get your attention. A landmark study published in Age and Aging followed over 3,000 adults aged 65 and older for 6 years. They measured leg strength and balance at the start of the study. Then they tracked who could still live independently at the end. The results were striking. Adults with weak leg strength were 2.4 times more likely to lose their independence compared to those with strong legs. 2.4 times. That is more than double the risk. And leg weakness was actually a stronger predictor of losing independence than the balance test itself. This makes sense when you understand how balance actually works. Standing on one leg is not just a balance challenge. It is also a strength challenge. When you lift one foot off the ground, your standing leg has to support your entire body weight. If that leg is weak, it starts to shake. It starts to wobble, and your brain interprets that shaking as instability. So, it sends signals for you to put your other foot down. You fail the test not because your balance organs are broken, but because your leg muscles cannot handle the load. The chair squat fixes this problem directly. This exercise targets your quadriceps, which are the big muscles on the front of your thighs. It also works your glutes, which are your buttock muscles, and your hamstrings on the back of your thighs. These three muscle groups together give you the power to stand from sitting, to climb stairs, and yes, to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. Here is the proper way to perform a chair squat for maximum strength building. Start by sitting in a sturdy chair with a firm seat. Avoid soft couches or chairs that sink down. Your feet should be flat on the floor about hip width apart. Scoot forward so you are sitting near the front edge of the chair. Cross your arms over your chest. This is important. Crossing your arms prevents you from using your hands to push up, which would cheat your leg muscles out of the work they need. Now lean your trunk slightly forward. Push through your heels and stand up completely straight. Pause at the top. Squeeze your glutes for 1 second. Then slowly lower yourself back down to sitting. Control the descent. Do not just plop down. That controlled lowering phase, which scientists call the eccentric phase, is actually where most of the strength building happens. A study from Tufts University proved just how effective chair squats are for older adults. They had adults with an average age of 82 do chair squats 3 times per week for 12 weeks. The results were remarkable. Leg strength increased by an average of 41%. Balance test times improved by 29%. And the participants reported feeling more confident moving around their homes. 41% stronger in just 12 weeks. That is life-changing for someone in their 80s. For maximum benefit, aim to do 3 sets of 10 chair squats 5 days per week. If 10 repetitions feels easy, slow down the movement. Take 3 seconds to lower yourself and 3 seconds to stand up. This time under tension approach builds strength faster. If regular chair squats feel too hard at first, start with a higher chair or place a firm pillow on the seat to reduce how far you have to lower down. As you get stronger, remove the pillow or switch to a lower chair. One crucial tip that most physical therapists emphasize: do your chair squats before the balance test, not after. Your muscles need to be fresh and fully powered for the best performance. A small study from Australia found that people who did light leg strengthening for 5 minutes before attempting the single leg balance test held their balance 22% longer than those who did not warm up. Your muscles and your nerves communicate better when they have been activated first. There is also a psychological component here that researchers have documented. When your legs feel strong, your brain has more confidence in your balance abilities. You become less afraid of falling. That reduced fear actually improves your balance because anxiety causes muscle tension that interferes with the smooth adjustments your body needs to make. Stronger legs equal more confidence, which equals better balance. It is a positive cycle that builds on itself. But as important as leg strength is, there is one exercise that research shows matters even more for passing the 10-second test. And this is the one most people get wrong. Number 1, the single leg stance practice. The number 1 exercise for passing the 10-second balance test after 80 is the single leg stance itself. This might sound obvious. Practice what you want to improve, but there is so much more to this exercise than just standing on one foot. The science behind why this works and how to do it correctly is what separates people who improve from people who stay stuck. Let me start with the Harvard study I mentioned earlier. Researchers at Harvard Medical School recruited 134 adults over the age of 75. All of them failed the 10-second balance test at the start of the study. The researchers split them into 2 groups. One group did general exercises, walking on a treadmill, light stretching, basic movements. The other group did targeted single leg stance practice with specific progressions. After 8 weeks, The general exercise group improved their balance times by about 14%. Decent progress, but the targeted single-leg practice group improved by 43%. They did 3 times better with the same amount of exercise time. The difference was not how much they exercised. It was what they practiced. This follows a principle in neuroscience called specificity of training. Your brain and nervous system adapt specifically to what you ask them to do. If you want to get better at standing on one leg, you need to stand on one leg. Walking helps some, general strength helps some, but direct practice helps the most. Your brain literally creates new neural pathways when you practice a specific skill. After about 3 weeks of consistent practice, those pathways become stronger and faster. After 6 weeks, they become automatic. Your body starts to balance without you having to think about it. Now, here is how most people do single-leg stance wrong. They stand on one leg holding onto a counter and they stay there. That is it. Same position, same difficulty, same grit on the counter. Week after week, their balance improves a little at first and then plateaus. The reason is that their nervous system has adapted to that exact challenge. It needs a new challenge to keep improving. This is where the progression system becomes critical. Here is the exact protocol that the Harvard researchers used to get those 43% improvements. Start with Phase 1. Stand near a kitchen counter or sturdy table. Place both hands lightly on the surface. Lift your left foot about 2 in off the ground. Hold for 10 seconds. Put it down. Rest for 5 seconds. Lift your right foot. Hold for 10 seconds. Do 5 repetitions on each leg. This is your baseline. Do this for 5 to 7 days. Phase 2 begins when you can easily complete Phase 1. Now use only one hand on the counter. Same drill, 10 seconds each leg, 5 repetitions. Your balance system has to work harder with less support. Stay here for another week. Phase 3 is where the magic happens. Place just your fingertips on the counter. Barely touching. You are not really using the counter for support anymore. It is just there for psychological comfort. Your body is doing almost all the work. Another week at this level. Phase 4 is the real test. No counter at all. Stand in an open area with nothing to grab. Lift one foot. Hold for 10 seconds. By this point, most people who could not pass the test can now pass it comfortably, but do not stop here. Phase 5 adds what researchers call perturbation training. While standing on one leg, slowly turn your head left and right, then up and down. This scrambles the signals from your vestibular system and forces your body to rely more on your proprioception and muscle control. A study published in the Journal of Neurophysiology found that adding head movements to balance training improves stability by an additional 26% compared to balance training alone. Phase 6 is the most advanced. Close your eyes while standing on one leg. This removes your visual system from the equation entirely. Your inner ear and your muscle sensors have to do everything. Most people can only hold this for a few seconds at first. That is okay. Even brief attempts teach your nervous system to balance without seeing. One fascinating study from the University of Illinois found that older adults who practiced eyes-closed single-leg stance for just 10 minutes per week reduced their fall risk by 38% over 1 year. Now, let me share the most important piece of information about single-leg stance practice. Frequency beats duration. A meta-analysis that combined results from 23 different balance studies found that practicing 3 times per day for 2 minutes each session was more effective than practicing once per day for 6 minutes. Same total time, very different results. The reason is that each practice session activates those neural pathways. 3 activations per day builds connections faster than 1 long activation. Think of it like learning a language. Short frequent exposure works better than 1 long weekly lesson. Here is a practical way to fit this into your day. Do your single-leg stance practice during activities you already do. Stand on one leg while waiting for your coffee to brew. Practice while brushing your teeth. Hold the position during television commercials. These brief sessions scattered throughout your day add up to remarkable improvements without feeling like exercise. One final piece of research that shows just how powerful this exercise can be. A follow-up to the original Brazilian study that started all this looked at what happened to people who failed the 10-second test, but then started training. After 6 months of targeted balance practice, including single-leg stance work, their mortality risk dropped. It did not go all the way back to normal, but it dropped significantly. The researchers estimated that every additional second you can stand on one leg reduces your mortality risk by about 6%. 6% per second. Think about that. Going from 5 seconds to 10 seconds on the balance test could reduce your risk by 30%. The 10-second test is not a death sentence. It is a wake-up call. It is your body telling you that something needs attention. And now you know exactly what to do about it. 3 exercises. Heel-toe walking for dynamic balance, chair squats for leg strength, and single-leg stance practice with proper progressions for direct improvement. Start today. Start with whatever level feels challenging but doable, because every day you practice is a day you are adding to your life. So there you have it. The 10-second balance test is not just some random physical challenge. It is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity that scientists have ever discovered. That 84% increased mortality risk for people who fail this test is a serious wake-up call. But here is the good news that I hope you take away from everything we covered today. You are not stuck with the balance you have right now. Your body can still adapt. Your nervous system can still learn even after 80. You have the power to dramatically improve your stability and reduce your risk. The 3 exercises we talked about work together as a complete system. The heel-to-toe walk trains your dynamic balance and strengthens those tiny ankle stabilizers that catch you when you stumble. The chair squat builds the leg power you need to support your entire body weight on one leg without shaking. And the single-leg stance practice with proper progressions teaches your brain exactly how to keep you upright when it matters most. Remember that Harvard study, 43% improvement in just 8 weeks. That could be you. That could be someone you love. Start where you are. If you need to hold on to a counter, hold on to a counter. If you can only stand on one leg for 3 seconds, start with 3 seconds. Progress will come faster than you expect if you stay consistent. Practice a little bit every single day. 3 short sessions beat 1 long session. And do not forget to challenge yourself as you improve. Move from 2 hands to 1 hand to fingertips to nothing at all. Add head movements. Close your eyes. Each progression builds new neural pathways that make balance automatic. The people in that Brazilian study who failed the test were not doomed, and neither are you. Every second you add to your balance time is a victory. Every representative of chair squats makes your legs more capable. Every step of heel-to-toe walking sharpens your coordination. These small daily investments add up to something huge. They add up to more years with your family, more independence in your own home, more confidence every time you stand up and move through your day. Now, we want to hear from you. Did you try the 10-second balance test while watching this video? How many seconds could you hold it? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.